Join me inside my writing yurt. Come on. How long is each video in the Cozy Grammar series? And is there bookwork? Now, this is also an excellent question. And the answer is that it depends. The videos range in length from anywhere from around 4 minutes to 10 minutes. And in the basic Cozy essay writing course, they are as long as 20 or 30 minutes long. And they vary depending on the topic being taught. They vary depending on the lesson. So for instance, in the basic Cozy Grammar course, there are lessons on a specific topic, for instance, nouns. And for each lesson, there'll be at least 2 videos. The first video comes from Marie Rackham, who was the founder of the basic Cozy Grammar course and the whole Cozy Grammar series. And she covers the nuts and bolts of the grammatical topic, but in a very freewheeling and cozy and nonetheless succinct and measured way, taking students out into on the beach in front of her cozy beach cottage, or doing activities at home using real-life examples to bring the grammatical concepts alive. So Marie's videos bring the concepts alive. Then these are connected to a series of study notes. And in the study notes, there's at least 1 additional video from myself. Now, my job in these videos is to connect the grammatical concept that Marie has taught with some real-world application, particularly in the field of writing and creative writing. So for instance, how does knowing what a noun is connect to your capacity to, for instance, tell stories, or even to write poems or plays or whatever else you might want to write? So that the bridge between the concept, the grammatical concept, and the application in the real world, or the application in writing, is made for every single concept that's taught. Now, these study notes, I should add, also include a number of additional activities, suggestions, additional explanations, and so on. Now, these study notes can be viewed online, and they're interactive, so they work well online. But of course, there are some families who would prefer to use something that's printed out. And for that, we've created easily printable versions of all of the study notes. In fact, here's half of the study notes for the basic Cozy Grammar course. And these are printed in such a way that we get the most use out of the page, so that we're not using a lot of the space on the page for pictures or things like that, but rather getting straight to the content, getting straight also to the interactive exercises, which are available online. And the exercises online, as a student goes through them, little helpful hints will come up from Marie and from myself, depending on how the student answered that question. For students and families who prefer to use the printable PDFs, we have all of those hints and explanations and tips right there on the page. You know, it occurs to me, since I'm able to share my screen with you, let me walk you through the layout of one of these lessons to see if I can give you the clearest idea of how each of these lessons is laid out. Here's our home page, and I'm going to take you to the basic Cozy Grammar course. And here's when you sign into the basic Cozy Grammar course, you see our table of contents with our preface, our introduction, and all of the lessons. So let's choose a lesson. Let's take a look at pronouns, for instance. So the lesson on pronouns begins with the video from Marie, which you can watch right there, or you can also make it a full screen version. Marie sets her lesson on pronouns in the context of a dinner party, where we can talk about him and her and us and we and all of these pronouns that we use every day. And by doing so in the context of a dinner party, it becomes quite vivid and applicable to everyday life. So after you watch the video from Marie teaching the concept, then you go down the page and you'll see that there's the lesson workbook, which has study notes and exercises. Going to the study notes, you'll see how we've laid out the course content, the content from Marie's video in a form like this. Not only does this reiterate the content from the video, it also adds, let me find an example for you, it adds some extra special activities. For instance, in this video, Marie talks about the non-alcoholic children's chi-chi that she likes to drink at parties. And so we've created an exercise that you can do using the recipe for that non-alcoholic drink. And in fact, you can actually make this drink. But we also use it as a way of teaching about pronouns. Now, as part of the study notes, there is the second video from myself, which integrates or shows the connection between, here's the one for pronouns. So here I give a mini lesson and an activity. Sometimes it's a creative writing activity, sometimes it's, in this case, it's an observation activity. And here I show how learning about pronouns, knowing about pronouns, understanding pronouns can help a person as a writer. And I give some examples there. And of course, these have their own study notes as well. All of these, the information in the study notes are available in the printable PDFs as well. And then you come down to the end of the study notes. You can proceed from there to the exercises, which are interactive. For instance, in this lesson, there are 5 sets of exercises. I'll just give you a peek into one of them. Here are exercises. Some of them you fill in the blank, some of them you choose your answers. And just for an example, suppose I finish this exercise and I haven't answered any of the questions. Of course, I won't get any of them right, but I can review my answers by going to the Review Answers button. And here you'll see for each question, it highlights the correct answers and explains what the concept is. It gives helpful little reminders for thinking about grammar. So the combination of the videos and the study notes and the interactive exercises have as one of their primary aims being able to think grammatically, being able to learn how to think about language in a way that's very helpful. And not to mention a way that fosters our capacity to be creative. Some people say that studying grammar can be stultifying, can be deadening to the imagination. But Marie believed, and I believe, that to the contrary, studying grammar gives us the tools to understand how language works. And when we have the tools, we can use those tools in creative ways. As Marie says in the introduction to the Basic Cozy Grammar course, it is difficult to be creative at anything if you do not have the tools first. So Marie's aim in the courses when she put them together, and my aim in my contributions to the courses, is to give students as many tools to use as possible to become more creative, to be more eloquent in their speaking, to be more proficient in their writing, and to be more adept in reading the writing of others and being able to see how the writing is working, how it's conveying, or in some cases failing to convey an important idea. And this has applications far beyond the realm of language arts. This also includes how do we read a newspaper? How do we read the news online? How do we think about the way that politicians speak? How do we think about the ways that we think about our own lives? These are some of the things that Marie and I like to touch upon through the lens of the study of language and the study of grammar.